Hey everybody, Optimus here, and tonight what we're going to do is look at crates and talk about the percentages of getting items from each of the tiers in the crate, and this will hopefully give you a better idea of essentially how lucky you need to be to kind of pull some of these items. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the Nitro crate, which is the newest crate, show you the different tiers. We're going to talk about what's the likely kind of percentage of getting items from that tier, as well as some painted items. And so I'm basing this off of two different people, or two different instances where people have opened a huge amount of crates. In one instance, it was about 4 months ago, they opened close to 3,000 crates on stream. And then another instance a couple of months ago, a person opened up 1,500 crates on stream. And it's on YouTube, and I'll provide those links in the description. And I'm going to go over what they found. Both of them had somewhat similar percentages that they found. They also unlocked crates ranging from crate 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the Championship Series. They didn't use the newer crates, so they didn't use the Player's Choice crate or the Turbo crate or the Nitro crate. So they also didn't unlock any import wheels, because I think import wheels didn't come in until, I believe, the Turbo crate, which is the wheels that I have right here, which is the FSL wheels. And then the Nitro crate also has import wheels, the Triplex wheels. So they didn't unlock any of those, but they unlocked crates 1 through 4, just a huge number of them. And so we're going to go over the percentages and see how lucky do you need to be to get some cool stuff. Okay, so as you know, it takes one key to unlock a crate, and I'm using the Nitro crate as an example. And what I'll do is, instead of going through each of these examples of unlocking crates, the first one they unlocked 2,915 crates, and the second one where they unlocked exactly 1,500 crates, what I'm going to do is just talk, since the percentages are pretty close, I'm going to give you a range between those two. And then I'll also tell you an interesting little tidbit where they were the same, where they were actually exactly the same. And I'll also explain why there is kind of a range between these two instances where people unlock these crates. So first, we're looking here at the rare tier. So these are rare decals, and there are 5 of them. And that's kind of important to remember, because then and we don't know this from the statistics they gave us, but we could probably derive it. We don't really know if these are all equal, but we're assuming these are all equal within this tier, these 5 right here. So for rare items, and let me preface this by saying, remember in crates 1 through 4, the rare items, these rare decals, were just as they were. They did not come painted, or potentially come painted. It started in the Player's Choice crates, where the decals started to become available painted, as well as some of the rocket trails. Not the very rare rocket trails, but the import rocket trails. So keep that in mind. I'm not going to go over the statistics for items that are painted except for wheels, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But for this rare tier, what's the percentage, do you think, of getting one of these rare decals from a crate? If you guessed more than half, you are correct. More than half the time, when you unlock a crate, you will get one of these decals. Now in crate 1 through 4, again, they do not come painted, and so you're essentially going to be getting this is so bright. You're essentially going to be getting a really basic decal. And some of these decals are quite cool. Like, I love this one right here, Mobo, but that's because I like Type S. Kind of reminds me of the Dominus GT Unmasked from the last crate, or I think maybe it was a couple crates ago. But it's even more kind of a futuristic sort of design. It kind of reminds me of something you'd see in like Tron or one of those futuristic kind of movies. So for like a basic decal, this is really cool. You can imagine if this was painted, probably the parts which are a little thicker in color, maybe those would be the painted ones. I don't know because they didn't look at the newer crates, I don't know what the likelihood of being painted for the decals is, but we will talk about the likelihood of a wheel being painted. We'll talk about that in a little bit because that's really important when you're thinking about, oh man, I'm really hoping I'll get like a painted wheel. Um, so again, it's over 50%. So if you're thinking, oh man, I'm going to get this awesome stuff here, um, more than likely, and this is literally more than likely, more than half the time, you're just going to get one of these basic decals. But again, there is a chance they're painted in the last three crates, the Nitro crate, Turbo crate, Player's Choice crate. The actual percentage is between roughly 55 to 58%. So between these two examples of opening a massive amount of crates, essentially around 4,500 crates, or 4,400 crates, approximately 4,400 crates, it's 55 to 58%. They 55 to 58% of the items that they unlocked from those crates were rare decals. Okay, so that's the bulk of what you would get if you used a key to unlock these. So you keep that in mind. The very rare is there are four. There are four things. And just to go back, there are five decals. If it's about 55%, that means you get about an 11% chance. If I open this crate, I would have approximately an 11% chance of getting this particular decal, the Mobo Rare decal. And of course, it would be a lot less to get a painted decal. It'd probably be like 2 or 3% chance probably. And if it's similar to the percent chances for the wheels, and we'll talk about that later. So again, 55 to 58% chance of getting one of these for the very rare animated decal, the very rare sort of wheels, rocket trails, animated decals. It is approximately 27 to 28% chance. So, you know, around 27, 28% chance of getting one of these. And that's not too bad. There's actually some cool stuff in the very rare tier. But think about this. If you add up like roughly 58 plus 27, if you add those up, let's say this one's 58, let's say this one's 27, that's 85% chance. When you unlock a crate, it's approximately or close to an 85% chance you're going to get either a rare or very rare item. So that means there's only a 15% chance that you're going to get one of these really cool items down below. Import exotic black market decal. Again, 85% chance you're going to get one of these. Now again, those could be, you know, painted. Many of these can be painted. As far as I know, the very rare rocket trails do not come painted. But in the newer crates, all of these others do have a chance to be painted. The import tier is next. There are 3 items in the import tier. And let's go back real quick. There's 4 items in the very rare. If it's approximately 27, 28, so 28 divided by 4, that's 7. So basically, if you're hoping to get hex phase, you have approximately 7% chance to get a hex phase. And actually, I'm mistaken. Hex phase does come painted. Now that I think about it, I heard that hex phase does come painted. So yes, let me correct myself. The very rare rocket trail and the nitro crate, the hex phase, does come painted. Can come painted, because I remember seeing like pink hex phase or some other ones. The ectoplasm from the last crate, turbo crate, is not painted as far as I know, and none of the others are in the very rare tier. I believe it's Tachyon from the last crate that comes painted, and it's hex phase and Neothermal that can come painted. So again, approximately 7% chance to get a hex phase. It's probably like a 1% chance or less to get it painted. To get a painted hex phase. Alright, on to the import. The import items are approximately 11 to 12% chance to get one of these items. So let's say 12% chance, there's 3 items, that means 4% chance. You have a little less than a 4% chance to get the Mantis when you open the Nitro crate. So keep that in mind. You're excited about opening this crate, you want a Mantis, it's basically 4% or less chance that you're going to get a mantis. In terms of getting a painted mantis, of course, it's like a lot less than that. I don't have the statistics. They didn't have the statistics on painted cars because they didn't open up any crates with painted cars. And even though you may think that the percentages of painted versus non-painted would be the same for all items, that is not the case, and we'll talk about that in a moment. On to the exotics. So the exotics are approximately 3.5 to 4%. So these right here, up to 4% chance. So if you want these awesome looking Draco wheels, you open the Nitro crate, it's a less than 2% chance that you're going to get these Draco wheels. Just the basic Draco wheels. Just the basic Draco wheels. And in fact, what they found was it is approximately a 0.5%, so that's a 0.5% chance of getting one of these wheels painted. So if you're hoping to get like white Draco wheels, just getting a painted either one of these, any color, is a 0.5% chance. You can imagine that it's 0.25 to get a painted Draco wheel, 0.25% to get a painted Draco wheel, and then it's probably it is, and we'll talk about this now, there is a 14% chance that the exotic wheel that you get is painted. 14% chance that that exotic wheel is painted. So let's say, for example, so let's kind of backtrack a little bit. You get 4% chance to get one of these exotic wheels. The Draco wheel, since it's half, it's like a 2% chance to get the Draco wheel. And then 14% of that 2%. So you're talking like it's so small to be just ridiculous. I mean, it's probably, it's like, you know, less than 0.25%. It's very, very low chance to just even get this this painted. Let's see. So this particular Draco wheel. So it's like a 0.5%. Yeah, it's a 0.5% to get either one of these painted. To get a Draco wheel, it'd be like 0.25%. And then if it's one particular, you can imagine if it's approximately 0.25% and there are 12 colors, 13 colors, if you think that those are going to be equal chance to drop, which I believe, I can't see why they wouldn't be, you divide that, and so then it would be 0.25 divided by, let's say, 12, and so that's like probably 0.02 percent. You know, so you're talking like a 0.02% to get white Draco wheels. So you're hoping to hit the jackpot with white Draco wheels, and it's probably approximately 0.02%. And you can look at the statistics and kind of come up with the numbers yourself. I'll put those links in the description so you can actually see the Google Sheets as well as the YouTube videos of the openings if you want to see them actually being opened. So to go back before we get to the black market, to go back to the painted exotics, if you get an exotic wheel, one of these two wheels, it's a 14% chance that they're painted, which actually isn't bad. You know, I thought it would be lower. I thought it would be like 5% chance or maybe 10% chance. 14% chance if you get one of these wheels that it will be painted. Now for the very rare wheels, and at the time they weren't opening any crates that had import wheels. So for the very rare wheels, if you got a very rare wheel, like let's say the Fireplug, it would be a 20% chance that it was painted. So it's actually a higher percent chance, which makes sense, but it's kind of disappointing that they do it that way. It would be nice that the percentage of it being painted is the same, but I guess in a way that's good because that makes them more available. There's more items, and so I would imagine if exotic wheels if you get an exotic wheel, it's a 14% chance it's painted. You get a very rare wheel and it's 20% chance it's painted, and I'm guessing import's probably 17% in the middle, then maybe painted decals might be more like 25% chance or something. I don't really know. We don't have the data on that, but again, very rare wheels. It's approximately, but both instances, examples of where they opened up these massive amount of crates, they found the exact same percentage, 20% chance of getting a painted very rare wheel. If you get a very rare wheel to drop, then it's 20% chance that it is painted. And for exotic wheels, if you get an exotic wheel, it's approximately a 14% chance that that's painted. For black market, keep in mind that the black market decals, any of the now 10, I think, black market decals can drop in any crate, right? So keep that in mind. The black market decals, the one study where they where they opened 1,500 crates, it was approximately a 0.5%, whereas the one where they opened up 2,900 crates, 2,915 crates, it was a 1.3% chance. Now, for most of the percentages of the higher tiers are a little bit higher percentage in the larger crate opening, and that makes sense because you have so few that are being opened. Even out of 2,900, 1% is like 3, right? So you have a better percent chance. The percentages are going to be a little bit higher for these really sort of low percent chance items if you open thousands of crates versus if you only open 10. Because if you only open 10, you might not get any black market decals, and so it'll be 0%. But the more crates you open, the more that you'll likely get those. So I would say between 0.5%, 1.3%, it's probably closer to the 1.3% most likely. So let's say 1%. So generally about a 1% chance or so to get a black market decal. And remember, there are now 10 black market decals. So let's say you wanted one of the newest black market decals. Let's say you wanted Bubbly or 20XX or something like that. That's 1/10 of that 1%. So it's a 0.1% chance to get one of those particular decals. Because remember, some of these decals, they may look cool to some people, but they're not particularly valuable, not particularly popular. So for example, Labyrinth is only going for about 4 keys if you can trade keys for it. Biomass about 5 keys, right? Which seems ridiculous. It's to get Labyrinth, it's approximately a 0.1% chance to get Labyrinth, but people just don't like it that much, and so you can get it for the low price of 4 keys. But it's also a 0.1% chance to get Bubbly, and that's probably like 40 or 50 keys or how many ever. So keep in mind the percentages. If you're really hoping to get one of these things, you have to be very lucky to unlock one of these. So again, keep in mind that this is it's very difficult to get into these higher tiers. It's like close to 57% chance or so, 55 to 58% chance to get a rare. It's about a 27-28% chance to get a very rare. It's like 12% chance to get an import, and it's only 3 to 4%, like 4% chance to get it exotic, and like a 1% chance to get a black market decal. And then again, painted is even lower. So to get a painted exotic wheel, either one of these, any paint, including like burnt sienna, would be a like 0.5% chance. So for example, out of 2,900 items they unlocked in the first one, they only got 16 painted exotic wheels. Again, like a 0.5%. So same thing, 1,500 items in the second example, and they got seven items out of 1,500 were painted exotic wheels. I don't know what the percentages are for people that are trading up when you do like the trade up. I know there was somebody who did a whole bunch of those. I think the same person who did the 1,500 unlocking. I haven't seen the data yet for that, but it's probably out there. But I will go ahead and post these links so you can take a look at it. Please take care when you open crates. I would highly suggest to set aside some keys to open the crates. Don't say like, I'm going to use all of my keys to open these crates and hopefully I get something awesome. What I would suggest instead is to set aside a few keys, a handful of keys to open crates just for fun. Do it just for fun. Just to see like, hey, maybe I'll get lucky and get something good. But don't spend a bunch of keys opening crates. I wouldn't recommend it. But do buy keys to support Psyonix. They've done a fantastic job with the game, especially if you've played it for hundreds of hours like I have, and use those keys to trade to other people for items that they've unlocked. Other people were, fortunate and lucky to unlock some cool stuff, and you can trade keys to them to get stuff, and it's really easy to do. You basically just invite people into a party, and then you can go down to the bottom and highlight their name, and then just click on it and choose invite to trade. So just be careful when you do it. There are people who will try to scam you out of keys. I would definitely recommend looking at the subreddit called Rocket League Exchange. That's linked off the main subreddit. So you see the main subreddit right down there, that's scrolling across right there. Join the discussion on Reddit at r/Rocket League. It linked off of there is the trading website, which is Rocket League Exchange. And so I would recommend using that. It's a pretty safe way to trade. You still need to make the trades within the game, but you can set up the trades there on the website so that it's nice and transparent and you understand what you're going to be trading, and then you get into the game, and don't let people force you to add more stuff or change it. You have to be careful with people. So I recommend enjoying the crates. When you get the crates, open one or two up. If you want to open up more, that's fine if you have plenty of keys. But I would definitely recommend being very careful with how many you use, because the percentages are very, very, very low to unlock something super cool. So hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully these percentages are helpful. I will go ahead and again post those links down in the description. I'm also going to put this on YouTube, and I will see you guys later. Bye.